Hi, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Furman Transformation Podcast. Hope everybody's doing well. I got a great piece today I wanted to share, and I think this is a really strong piece to think about, to really understand it, and to see how it applies in your life. It's a fairly simple concept, but I believe one of the most powerful concepts really that exists. And essentially what today's episode is going to be on acting in the face of fear. Okay? I think a lot of times, people who aren't entrepreneurs, aren't business owners, aren't CEOs, they'll look at, the entrepreneur, the CEO, or the business owner, and they'll say, oh, he's fearless. He's fearless. He's just a daredevil, but he has no fear. He's fearless. I wish I was like that. Well, I think this is interesting because most CEOs, business owners, know that there's no such thing as being fearless. Everybody has fear. It is a state. It is an emotion that we all have in our systems, and it is something that is very, very primal to our survival, and that's why we have it. Fear typically, if you go back many, many, many generations, typically served the purpose of alerting us when there was a serious threat or danger. So if you're hunting and there is a predator on the horizon, fear could tell you fight or flight response. And so in that scenario, in that situation, the fear is helpful to you and conducive because it's telling you, that you need to make a fight or flight decision. Now, I think fear is interesting because we've got so much more stimuli in our lives nowadays. And there's so many things going on. And we've come to a place of a much higher complexity where there's just so many different intricacies and things that go on. Especially in the business environment, a lot of times we may feel the fear initially, but we realize after looking at it rationally and taking a step back that there was really no substance to the fear, and we can then look at that and understand it for what it is and dismiss it and move forward. So I think that that's important. And this is what I wanted to address today, is really acting in the face of fear. First of all, realizing that in yourself, and you probably know this if you're a CEO or business owner, you know this, but I think it's important to really understand the concept. We all do feel fear. It is acting in the face of fear that makes us successful business people at the right times. And again, it's understanding the severity of that fear. To have a lack of fear would be ignorance. So anybody who doesn't have any fear and just makes huge leaps and does crazy things, that would be considered as ignorance, because sooner or later that will result in a negative result. So you understand that fear is innate. The best entrepreneurs actually will when they realize what the fear is and they realize it's not a threat, they will actually harness that fear to do something much, much greater. And I think that's a quality that makes some of the best entrepreneurs. So I think that's important. Fear reminds us if there is a serious threat, but nowadays that's triggered very, very, very often. So I think what's important here is not just for us as business owners, as leaders, as CEOs, but to also to be able to share this with our teams and to show them that it is okay to act in the face of fear. It is okay to fail because if we don't fail, then we don't ever grow. And so if your team is constantly living in a comfort zone and they don't want to bang up against the walls too hard, and they're shrinking, it's not going to do anything good for your operation or for your company, especially if you're in tech. because the big thing in tech is disruption, right? So it's all about disrupting industries, doing new things, trying new things. You have to be always encouraging people to push through that fear. Provided that it is not a serious threat, you've got to push through it to be able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. If you look at Uber, you look at Travis Kalanick, who I've got a lot of respect for him, and they can say whatever they want, but Travis Kalanick, built Uber from nothing, a huge company, and I think you just don't do that if a normal person just isn't able to do that, and it's because he had just an immovable way of pushing forward. Battling this taxi industry just one step at a time, one state at a time, one county at a time, and look what he built. It's a huge company, billion-dollar company now. So I think that's really important, is in not only realizing that in us, but allowing and showing that to our teams and showing them the benefit of that, and that they can do that within restriction. Obviously within the outlines of our companies, but that they can do that, and they can try new things, and they're allowed to fail, and because that's what pushes them to the next level, and that's what makes them better. That's what makes the company better, and that's the same concept at Google. They'll say the same thing. It's trying 100 different things. Even though the shareholders may not necessarily be happy with all of them. And having to move past that fear, but trying 100 different things, and one of them that you least expected, maybe, and Larry talk about it, that was one of the things that they didn't expect, and look where AI is now. And so I think encouraging to push through the fear, encouraging to be okay with that, to be okay to accept a failure, and to keep moving forward, is something so invaluable. And I just wanted to address it today as something that I think you can sort of just bring to light with your team and open up a little bit to allow that to happen. That you understand what's going on, you understand the situation for what it is. First, you have to see it for what it is. If you feel fear, let yourself feel that fear, understand that emotion that you're feeling, understand then why you're feeling the emotion, look at it rationally and say, why is it that I'm feeling this fear, and is it a rational feeling, for my situation in life, and if it's not so serious, in many, either way, then you've got to make a decision. Well, either I'm going to move forward or I'm not. And in most cases in business, the right action is to move forward, and I think it's a very, very important thing. So I would urge you today, take this. Obviously, you're a business owner, you're CEO, you already have this in you for the most part. But sort of start to show your teams this concept, because I think that to do this, it's going to allow for a much, much higher level of creation and a much, much higher level of disruption, and it's going to give you a winning edge that I think you won't have if this is not instilled. So again, I wanted to just bring this to you guys today. Think about a perfect example is Jeb Corliss. He's one of the best, I would say one of the best base jumpers or wingsuit divers in the world. Very, very good, very talented. And he'll say the same thing. As soon as you lose the fear, then you got a problem. But you feel the fear, and he feels the fear, but he's still doing the things he's doing, gliding against mountains and just doing things that nobody else will do, because he understands what he's doing, but he's okay with it, and he understands it enough to where he takes the precautions. He does it the way he needs to do it to be successful. So again, bring this to your teams today. I think this is one of the best things that you can do for the disruption era for technology, and I see many, many ways that this could help your company. So bring this to your teams. Again, thanks for listening. This was a Furman Transformation podcast. We are a growth agency. We work mainly with tech companies, growth stage tech, small to mid-size, some larger, but we do everything. We work with all of these new technologies that are coming out right now, namely AI, IoT, blockchain developments, but many others. And we want to hear from you. We want to learn about you guys. We want to learn what you're doing. And if there's an opportunity, I want to help you because I want to be involved in what's going on right now. This is a very, very cool time to be alive. It's a great time to be on this earth. And there are just so many opportunities and so many things that are happening in the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 years that are going to be very, very exciting to see. So, if you've got that the tech chops and you need a guy that's got the business chops, the business development, whether that's your sales, your marketing, your public relations, your solutional consultancy, that's what I do. I do all of it, and I can help you with all of it, and I can be your biz dev guy. So if that's what you need and you've got the money behind you, give me a call. Give me a call up. My number is 561 at the office, 561-571-0638. Again, it's Jonathan Furman, 561-571-0638, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks so much.